quality turns out. But as far as tonight goes, this is a shift that I've been going through, and a lot of y'all have witnessed that shift. You know, like I said, when I was in high school, I used to take an F over standing in front of people and giving a book report. I was that shy and inside myself. And kind of full circle is coming to realize a couple of things. You know, you remember that the bottom three chakras are the masculine of the upper three, right? So the heart's the center. You go up one, that's the throat. Go down one, it's the power. And the chakra system works together. The whole there's a misconception that we're more spiritual if we drop the lower aspect. Well, we can't. We're actually less spiritual because it's usually when we're connected to the physical world and nature where things are more spiritual, right? But religion came in and gave us the concept that survival, you know, forget about surviving, forget about your sexuality, forget about your creativity, and forget about power. Give it all over to God, right? But that makes us non-powerful people and easy to control from a religious standpoint or a political standpoint, like King James Bible, right? So, enough said about that. But so as you go out, you have your thyroid, which is your voice, and your personal power. These two, you have, like all the other chakras, like here's your pituitary, which has to do with your hormones, and here's the testes and ovaries, right? They go hand in hand. So you do not have a strong voice if you have a weak presence in the world, a weak personal power. And you have weak personal power if you have no voice. And those two endocrines that are associated with the chakras are the thyroid and the pancreas. So I started with talking about the thyroid tonight, but I threw in the pancreas because you got to throw in the yin and the yang. And I'm always playing with words. In the thyroid, I was looking at the world, it's ThyROID. You know, the roid is like a slang term for roid, not testosterone.
Steroid.
Steroid, hello, thank you. So ThyROID is like thy power. Thy power is in our word. Thy word, thy power. And the power related to the pancreas here is pancreas. I play with that. I'm always playing with words. And if you just add an I in the middle of pancreas and an E, like E on the end, you actually get pain increase. So we tend to eat things to decrease our pain, to increase our feeling of happiness, right? And the funny thing about the pancreas is associated with sweetness in life because it's what digests the sweet in life. So the pancreas is, you know, when people are hurting a lot, they're not speaking up for themselves, you'll find people that stuff their emotions through food and sweet things. And what happens is, what's the hormone that's associated with the pancreas?
Insulin.
Insulin. It's insulation, right? So if you eat enough sweet things to compensate for not having a voice, not having a healthy boundary, you begin to put on insulation, insulin, and you get fatter and fatter and fatter because you're putting on insulation because you don't have a strong voice to set the boundary. Your physical body, your lower chakra decides, well, I'll create a boundary for you, you know, and you know,
it's actually trying to be your friend.
Exactly, and by putting on weight, it's a way of pushing people away because it's like saying, I don't have healthy boundary, and we send off these different messages, just from the way people look. So I wanted to go over thyroid and pancreas. We're not going to go too in depth here because I want to tap on some things. But we know that the thyroid and the throat chakra have to do with communication and self-expression, right? The pancreas and the solar plexus have to do with healthy boundaries and personal power. And if you cannot communicate, you have no boundaries. That's just plain and simple. And like with my growth and my learning, I didn't have a voice when I was younger. So the funny thing about life is it pushes you lots of things that make you have to speak up eventually. And they tend to make you angry, which, what was right in this area here? Liver, right? And it's associated with anger. So it's funny how all that works. So anger makes you develop your personal power, and then you get pushy back, and, it's about growth. In the beginning, you're not so good, but as you grow, you get a little less messy with your emotions. And if you have no personal power, you have no expression. And to me, we've all come in here to express ourselves uniquely. Because really, it's like one vast ocean, and each one of us is a wave in that ocean for whatever time we're here, right? And each one of us has our own expression to bring to this planet. And if it worked how I ideally would see it, is if everybody was following that or in tune with who they really were, then it would all just smoothly work as it's supposed to, right? But things go astray from time to time, and I think a lot of where we are in this reality right now is we've created a reality where things have to be learned, when really, to me, it doesn't have to be. For example, well, from another perspective, if you never had an abusive father or something like that, the programs you developed from that would not be there, and you would not create the life situations to make the learning, right? So, in the world that we're moving out of now are a bunch of old patterns that are played out. I mean, how much longer can we play the same old fucking game over and fucking over and fucking over, right? Been there, done that a bazillion times. You know, you can look at anybody else's life and see the patterns over and over. We're moving in, that shift we're moving is into a wholly new paradigm. And a lot of it is owning these lower chakras too, which is our personal power and being able to commute effectively in the world. Like I say about Jesus, in the Bible, he had to have some really big balls, right? You know, he's walking with somebody and stand, right? You have to be really powerful with your voice. You have to trust and know that it's there. You can't just go, try getting up. You know, it doesn't work. You've got to have a strong voice in the world. So a lot of us are trying to co-create, which is part of our growth. We're trying to co-create in the world, but we have crappy power, and we don't have a strong way of projecting that into the world. We need both of these developed. So what's coming to me is I thought, I want to see if the group, did the whole temperature thing. Who did the temperature thing? Followed through with it, okay? That was just a test to see how many people's thyroid was low. So of the ones that tested, what was your temperature average?
98.5.
I don't think I averaged it out. I just kept track of it.
What was like here?
The first one was normal. The second one was like a few points above. The other four were like 97-ish.
97.
Yeah, I had a lot of 97s. Libra had like 90.
Yeah, that's way back.
I've had 96 to 97.4.
Mm-hmm. That's low too. Actually, anything below 97 is hypothyroid. And this is something that you can't find on a blood test. And what's interesting, my sessions, I've had a few new clients and a few old ones. And the funny thing about reality is, it's interesting, we're going into thyroid issues with them. So as I clear them, the people that come into my energy are getting to clear it too. It's something I need to look at more, but the last two sessions, prolactin came into it. And I did a little research. I didn't have time to do much of it, but prolactin, which has to do with breast milk, can interfere with the thyroid function. So there's a whole hormonal thing that I don't even know of. I need to look into.
That was something that came up in my body talk.
Was it? Could be, yeah.
Prolactin and something else. I can't remember what the other one was.
I think it was prolactin, wasn't it? Okay. Maybe Stephen was
needing to get laid. It was like,
yeah. Because the prolactin actually gives you that sexual release. Because you have the buildup, like adrenaline is build, and then the prolactin is kind of the release. It's like letting the milk fall, so to speak. So yeah, that's interesting. That's that whole we're cool collective is we're working on. Stephen was like we're moving into this whole phase. Not like Mercury retrograde. It's not like Mercury retrograde starts here today and it starts. No, it always starts prior and after the date is there because energy is building, climaxing, and then back down. It never ends on the exact same date. If you're really in tune, you can tell when it's coming and when it's gone. So thyroid, there's a couple of things that will help with thyroid. And here's a crazy thing about thyroid. And somebody I really wanted to show up tonight who I think has a huge thyroid issue, she didn't show up. And it's a funny thing about reality is, and especially around thyroid, when you have a low thyroid, if the answer is given to you, you don't have the energy to follow through with it. Because it's missing your power. You're missing your power. You almost have to make yourself, it's like maybe you haven't been beat up enough, so the world's going to keep kicking you in the ass, pushing you harder and harder until you finally stand up, right? So I was really wanting this person to show up because they would really shift with personal expression because of the thyroid. I mean, you can just tell by looking at them and everything, but they didn't show up. And so I want to tell you that when your thyroid is low, even when you hear the answer, you don't get excited because it's all about energy, how much energy you have. If your thyroid is low, you don't have the energy to even put forth the effort to get better. That's the trap of that, right? Hey, Joyce. You can sit up here. Bye, Beth. With your horsey friend.
Thank you. Excuse me.
You were late, so you got to dance. So we're talking about thyroid, and you amazing talk. I was kidding. The answers of the universe were in the talk. So I thought I would muscle test a few people that did their temperature just to see what might help you, because there's different things that can help. Like there's thyroid tissue. Oh, let me backstep a second because I didn't finish my thought. When you don't have the energy to make yourself better, you can know the answer and you just don't have the ability to do it. So the cool thing about supplements is it can support you, and the thyroid, it bumps your energy up. Because the thing about, you can tell when your thyroid's low is when you wake up and you have this list of things to do and you're like, God, I really have to get out of bed. With thyroid, when your thyroid's working, which also works with your adrenals, when that's working, you wake up, you may have the same list, but you're excited about the day. You have energy to do it. Thyroid is like, I don't have enough energy to do what I need to do today. Okay? It goes hand in hand with the pancreas and some other things. So the cool thing about supplements is if you can just take a little effort to throw a pill in your mouth, then it will start building your energy to where you can get to the point where you don't need it anymore because it's pushed you forward to a point where you need to be. But if people's thyroid is completely dead or really, really low, it's hard to get motivated about things that you need to do. Unless you really push yourself, which in the end also makes you feel drained, right? Yeah, it makes you feel depleted. It's like people with fibromyalgia. It's like the very thing that's going to help fibromyalgia people is moving. Because moving helps flush out all the toxins. And fibromyalgia, 100% is related to toxicity in the muscle tissue. But they don't feel like moving because it hurts, right? So it's one of those catch-22. Cool thing about supplements is you can bypass that and start to feel better and then work into where you're doing things. Because you take the right thing to feed your thyroid, you start feeling better. Thyroid tissue, this comes from pigs. And when they're sleeping at night, they just take their thyroid. And this thyroid tissue is from pigs. They usually use pigs because it's very similar to our structure. And actually there's a thing in Chinese medicine called bone broth. And bone broth is you cook bones down till you get this gelatin, which has stem cells and all kinds of things in it. And you use pig because their bone structure is very similar to humans. An interesting thing about the genome is everything on the planet has the same genome. A fly has the same genome as we do. The thing about it is each gene has about 1 million different ways to read it. So eyes, right? Flies have eyes. Their eyes are just read a different way. Their body tends to be the same, and on and on. So we all have this, a whole planet has the same genetics. So thyroid tissue is giving you T3, T4, the thyroid tissue itself, everything you need to feed the thyroid. Kelp is a really good natural thing. It's like seaweed. That's basically what kelp is. I don't recommend that you... I got into this for a while, but the little sushi paper rolls, those are yummy, and I used to eat some of those. But they're actually very high in MSG. Because if you cook anything down, you get monosodium glutamate in it. Because everything has monosodium glutamate. The longer you cook something, the more of that's released. And it's a natural substance, but within that seaweed that you wrap the sushi in, it's been processed and all this. Even if it comes from a health food store, it's got high MSG in it. And then this is just one form of iodine. Iodine actually feeds the thyroid, and iodine is high in kelp. Anything in the ocean is high in iodine, right? And then we have some spleen. Spleen is, in Chinese medicine, spleen and pancreas are the same thing, so it helps feed this part. And then I just have some pills that have like raw adrenal and raw spleen tissue in them, because adrenals tie into part of your thyroid function too. So I'm just going to muscle test a few people. I'm not going to do everyone. I'm just going to do the one that did their temperature and see what might help them jump forward. So Beth, you want to come on up? And then we're going to get into some tapping, because to me, it all goes back to consciousness. Because if you can tap on the issues that why your thyroid is low, it'll actually start healing on itself. It'll start coming back into balance. So let me just put your arm here. I like the thumb up a little bit. And put your finger, and you resist. Resist. Okay. I'm just going to line test. Resist. Pretty strong. Resist. Nope, don't need that. Can you now see the difference with the arm? Okay. Resist. Ooh, good one.
So the good resistance means...
Okay. When I'm sorry for saying that. I assumed everybody knew what muscle testing. I'm sorry. When you hold the arm up, this really isn't a muscle test. It's an energy test. Basically, we're testing the lung meridian in this case. If you went to the arm, you'd be testing the spleen meridian, or to the leg. Lots of different things here. So I'm testing the energy. If I was testing the muscle would stay strong, right? I'm testing the energy here. If something is good for her, the circuit will stay strong.
Oh, okay.
If it's bad for her, she'll be weakened by it.
He's completing a circle.
Yeah, see this circle we have here?
Right? Okay.
Circle of life. Resist. That's an okay one.
And my job is to do the same, it's a really, in
Resist
my
the
perception,
same.
resist the same, not try to overpower.
Resist. So she tested really strong with iodine and the thyroid tissue.
Wow.
Kelp, you were the weakest on.
Really?
See, but the thing about the iodine is she's getting the straight iodine, right? Kelp, what does her body have to do with kelp? To get the iodine, you have to process it. So it tells me that her body is not in the condition to process it. She just needs the straight thing. You know what I mean?
So she needs iodine and the thyroid.
In the thyroid tissue, which basically is the whole thyroid they take out of a pig, right? And they grind it up,
Oh, that's lovely.
slap it in a pill.
Who makes that really good? I have Viagra, I just don't take it.
You can find this
Isn't that-
online. It's so you have it's also at Sunshine. I think maybe Adler's too. Thyroid tissue.
Okay, because that one. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
I didn't do the
Interesting.
temperature testing, but I can tell you I always run like 97.
Why don't you come up, Stephen?
And I have the lack of wanting to do stuff or follow through.
Yeah, and you were talking about doing the qigong.
Yeah,
Should we do
like
that?
I want to, but it just
Yeah.
doesn't
But
happen half the time.
And that's another good sign that Stephen brought up is like you feel like you want to do something, you really want to do it, but then when it comes time to do it, you're like,
See, that's me. I get
it's not worth the effort, and that means your thyroid is down. That's why when you find something that's going to work for you, you still don't have the energy to do it because you're like, you just don't. Yeah. So he's also low. Resist. Good. Relax. Just relax in between. Hold up. Resist. Good. Relax. Resist. Good. Resist. Resist. Resist.
Yeah, I hate it when a doctor. It's like a doctor.
Yeah, I can tell that
Uh-oh.
one really, like I started off kind of, but it's like,
Yeah. So the thyroid, so he did the opposite of, see, this is why you want a couple of different things, because he did the exact opposite of Beth. The thyroid tissue, he tested the weakest on, because this takes a lot of conversion within itself. You're still having to convert some things out of there. The iodine, not so much, but he did test strong on kelp, which it has a lot more than just iodine, it has lots of other minerals. The adrenals, this has raw adrenal, and when your adrenal energy is low, so is your thyroid. Adrenal actually does some of the conversion for your thyroid. And spleen. Spleen has a lot to do with cleansing blood. It's like the reincarnation center of the blood cells. So
those are the three that I would need.
kelp, raw adrenal. Should have brought a sticky pen. Let me get it. Sorry.
I will wear it to the health food store so that I remember what to get.
Like your testes.
Like my testes from Walmart.
Yeah, oh, that was hilarious.
He went in there and asked her.
Where do you keep those?
I'm going to show you one thing to do with multiple supplements, because I just realized that this has spleen tissue too, and this is the spleen tissue by itself. So that's kind of a verification of the muscle
Right,
test, because
right.
the try something to take this. So if you have multiple this raw adrenal has raw adrenal and spleen tissue. And this is just spleen. So I was about to I did write it down, but I thought to myself, maybe he doesn't need that too.
Maybe I just need these two.
And when you're doing multiple tests, you can test things how they work together. Because I've seen where one thing gives you strength separately, and then you put them together, and then they weaken you. So let's just see what these together do tremendously. And resist.
Woo!
That is super strong. So let's just throw this in for jollies and see what the result is. This is if you took all three of them daily. And resist. No, too much.
Yeah.
He'd lose it. Yeah.
Raw adrenal and kelp.
Synergistic.
I guess so.
Joyce?
No.
Come.
You already know my thyroid is.
Get the fuck Yeah.
Get up there. Play the game. Scamper.
Doesn't anybody else want to ever come up here?
Yeah, we all do, but yours, your turn. You're special.
Close your arm out.
Your turn.
You're special.
She has nothing.
Okay. You're just going to keep me from pushing your arm down.
Okay.
Resist. Good. Relax in between. Hold that there. Nice.
Just doing what you're telling me to do.
We're standing obedient.
That's actually a very thyroid thing to say. Resist. That's how you kill somebody's thyroid, is you train them like a dog. I'm serious. Because this is your voice, right? And you've heard that somebody taking your voice?
Yes.
Because when you take somebody's voice, what are you taking also? What's connected? Power, right? That's why you take people's voice. Because if the country's speaking up against anything, that's why you keep people subdued by, if you speak up or you do anything wrong, religion or government tells you, then you are bad, right? So you have this concept that if I speak up, I'm doing the wrong thing, but then you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So,
That's why they give the hippies marijuana, just confused it.
Resist. Not so much as I get. Yeah, but that's actually true to some degree there. What Deborah said is like the hippies. There was a huge movement of change happening around in the 60s. And then, yeah.
No, actually, I lived through a lot of us lived through the 60s, and I thought that was just awful what they were doing.
Oh,
You're the conservative.
Because
it was wonderful.
I'm the conservative, That's my.
But the thing about
That was my family.
But the thing about that whole movement is that it died. And that nowadays you have less people that will stand up and do that than used to be. And that's because systematically people's voices were taken away. It was a different way. It was through chemicals in the food. MSG being one of the main ones.
And the man coming to get you.
So, that's the thing though. If the war was
That's right.
But if we actually stood up though, if we stood up for what's right.
Hippie wanting to get out.
If we stood up for what's right though, that's the key to changing the world. It's because it plays in the part of weakening people. The whole thing with Hitler, that happened because people, they caved in. Instead of saying, I'd rather be true to my spirit and die and not play that game, they didn't do that. So the collective, that means that our collective was on that level. We had to play the whole game globally. But it doesn't have to be the same anymore. We have to start taking our power back, our voices back. And that's the message I've been getting for a while, and why I haven't led to this part of this.
I still call government officials on the phone and protest, and I write letters and sign petitions.
All right, Joyce has to be quiet.
Maybe I ought to start doing that.
Okay, this is...
Okay.
Resist? That's okay. Resist? Definitely not that.
Pig tissue. That's what I'm going to end up with.
Resist. You claim it.
Okay.
Resist. This. Resist. You're iffy on a bunch of things, but kelp was the one you were strongest on.
Isn't it surprising?
Which is a nice natural way of getting it because it's just seaweed.
I have powdered kelp at home for my horses. Can I eat it?
I think so.
I'm sure.
I'll try it. It's food grade, I
Because
think.
see, kelp is high in minerals, like alfalfa. That's why you give animals alfalfa, because alfalfa grows many feet into the ground and pulls on mineral sources that you cannot get with regular foods. If you eat grass, the horse is never going to get the mineral content that's in alfalfa. That's why alfalfa goes like feet below and pulls upon huge
Now they're
minerals.
GMOing it though.
Yeah. I've noticed with lots of feeds they're putting MSG and things in there, and
Genetically modified.
and what happens is the animals are more irritated.
Yeah, they are.
Anna, you want to come up?
They get
Anna?
suicidal.
What's his name? Is it Anna or Anna?
I like more Anna.
Anna? Okay.
That was interesting.
You see this arm here. Is there anything hurt on this arm or anything? No. Okay. So just come in just a little bit, thumb up, and you're just not letting me push down, okay? Just keep your arm straight. Resist. Perfect. Now relax in between. Hold that one there. Resist. No. Did you feel the difference there? Resist. A little bit stronger. Resist. Really strong. Resist. Oh, that's really strong. And resist. The T-test is strong. A lot. Iodine is the only thing. Huh?
Actually, I feel I have evidence of improvement.
Yeah. The iodine is the only thing you just tested weak on. But sometimes you can benefit from these things even though your thyroid... Yeah. Sure. That was actually the one you didn't show up strong on. All of these show strong. Oh, iodine? I see. Let me turn the fan on. Yeah.
Oh, I've been looking for kelp in the stores all week. And I can't even find it. And and my blood pressure has been very low. I have to go to the emergency room. The bottom number is low, and I have a feeling I need adrenal and kelp.
Have you been to the Asian food stores?
I haven't. I barely got out of bed. I'm just now getting out of bed.
Bar, you want to come up with me and test your bar?
Yeah.
And then we'll just do about 2 more after that, just to get a feel. We can do more later. So let's just get a general test. Thumb up. Relax. Keep this up. It doesn't take much resistance. Resist. And now relax in between. Hold that. Resist. Pretty strong. Strong is where it doesn't move at all for me. Pretty strong is it gives a little, which means it's beneficial, and it goes any below that, you don't. I've seen it where it just goes on people, which means you just stay away from it. It's usually like an allergy. Resist. That is really strong. That was, what is it? I didn't tell you yet. Mental girl. Resist. That's okay. Resist. That's a nice strong one. Resist. That's okay. So it was kelp and spleen.
Spleen, not adrenal.
But the spleen which one had adrenal in it?
Raw adrenal has spleen in it too.
Oh.
Because they work together, so.
Thank you. Mental girl, you know that I stay out of my mind all the time. Anything I do is from intuition. I do. I can't
Good
rest about.
girl.
Who else wants to test? Charles on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy you.
And then just a little bit there. Up and resist. Good. Relax your arm in between. Go blind. Just hold that with your left hand. See how that went down like that? Resist. That was a good one there. Resist. Jeez. See, I like testing people like John because there's no question. Sometimes it's like, I like it. So, resist. This is actually medium. Yeah. I mean, really, you can think about this being 100% needed all the way to 0, and wherever you, kind of give me a little second, wherever you hit is kind of the percentage. You know what I mean? Here is like, heck no. Here is like, yeah. So, resist. No. Main one, adrenal, my sir. Raw adrenal. And there's lots of different things out there, but the raw adrenal tissue is what you want. That means it comes from some animal. Where's Katie? Katie! Want me to test you real quick? Oh, sure is like not really. You know the word sure. You know the word sure is not a yes. It's not a no. It's an and. So imagine you go. Will you marry me? Sure. Yeah. Sure. Whatever.
Sure, I was having a conversation.
Sure.
Throw water on you. Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm here. Sure. Katie's going to do some cheerleading for us.
Katie has to do the muscle testing with Abby too.
I don't know what to get.
You let it draw back. Okay, focus here. Look. Right. Resist. Good. Hot now?
Oh, no, I have something to do with my hand.
Yeah, there you go. Resist.
Let's see, that looks strong to me.
It did.
Oh,
Resist.
that looks strong to me.
Because I have attitude.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
You screwed me up. Stop.
Resist.
twice.
It's kind of in between.
Oh, I have everything to do with that kid.
Yeah.
I own nothing.
Resist. Thyroid tissue, kelp, which has iodine and iodine. And you want to make sure, if you get an iodine, make sure it's not like monkey blood, because that will kill you.
Excuse me?
Well, it's not really monkey blood, but it's. That's what it's called.
Well, how do you know?
Is that the brand?
Well, there's no.
No, as a kid we called it, iodine was called monkey blood.
Yeah, it's the difference. It's the difference between like edible iodine and antiseptic iodine.
Oh, the iodine we used to put on and scream to the...
Yeah, because and actually, if you actually that monkey blood,
Yeah, don't go buy a bottle of
that monkey blood will actually put on your skin because you absorb through your skin. It will feed you iodine. And there's a test. I don't know how accurate it is. Is you make a square, like a 2-inch square of iodine, and you make sure what time it is, and you see how quickly it disappears. The faster it disappears, the more deficient you are in iodine. Because your skin is not smooth. If you really look at skin up close, it looks like shingles that are haphazardly thrown down. That's why, like the cigarette patch, you put that on, you go, how the hell does that work? Because whatever you put on your skin, you absorb. So if you put like suntan lotion with a bunch of crap in there on your skin, you're absorbing that chemical. And actually, they're saying that the cause of the huge cancer increase, skin cancer, is from lotions, not the sun. Over in Australia, they're curing skin cancer by having people go out naked for 30 minutes a day. No sunscreen or anything. We're made to work with the sun. And here's the thing about vitamin D, right? The sun creates vitamin D. It's not creating it, you're excreting it. It's an oil. So when you go out in the sun, part of your sweat that comes out with the sweat is vitamin D, okay? If you shower right after going outside, you kill away the vitamin D. So when you go out, get in the sun, play out in the sun, and you sweat and have the vitamin D comes to your skin, because it's what vitamin D is trying to do is not let you burn, right? So, but if you go in right after you've sweated and everything, and you wipe it off and take a shower, you don't reabsorb the vitamin D. So going out in the sun and just getting hot doesn't do it. You have to have that whole process and then let yourself absorb it.
I never heard that.
Oh, who would have known that?
I
Where do you find these things out?
What about zinc, John?
Down to the LLC.
Zinc's fine. I mean, zinc is a really good skin healer. It's a skin healer. And you'll find the white stuff you put on your nose. That's probably a pretty healthy thing. But,
It actually works really well, can I say?
Yeah.
I never use UV protection lotion. Never ever.
Really?
I am summertime all the time outside. I love backyard. I'm all the time by sun. I believe everybody wants to make money.
yeah.
Oh,
The commercial UV, all numbers, this one more, this one more, this
Oh,
one
yeah.
more. I don't believe, and I know it works, and my skin is very, how to say,
Healthy.
yes.
And
I use just olive oil.
olive oil.
Oh,
There you
that's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Olive
that's
oil and
excellent.
olive oil. If you burn yourself with olive oil
Mhm.
and olive oil.
Cool. Deborah, do you want to test or no?
Well, you tested me a little bit the other day, and I'm starting to kill.
Oh, okay. Then, okay, wait, I forgot I did that. Okay.
I was going to tell you, too, that
All right. We can just do you in the chair. Go ahead,
before you
Deborah.
did that, I have been buying an awful lot of that Amy's Korean seaweed, that snack. It's like I can't get enough of it.
That's
So-
why. What do you know what MSG does? What does MSG do?
It's addictive.
It makes you addicted. That's why they put it. They're out there spraying it on crops these days. It makes you addicted to the food. You go out to eat. Why you want to go back
Oh,
and
that
eat
makes me
like within really quick is because you're addicted to the food.
First of all, because I didn't know.
So those things are yummy. And how they found this out about just raise your feet. How they found out about this whole thing with the MSG is during the Korean War. They were over there. The Americans were over there, and they noticed that their food, like their sea rations, tasted so much better than Americans. It tasted like crap, right? Well, so they did a bunch of tests, and they found out that they were using sea vegetables. Like, they're putting that sea vegetables have to do with the what am I trying to say? The sushi, the kelp, those whole things. They were taking those sea vegetables, cooking them down, and making this little extract that was like salt, and putting it in there, and it tasted much better. So that's when we started adopting that whole same principle. But it is addictive. MSG is made to addict you. And the whole thing about the 60s, interesting thing about everybody coming into their own power, because MSG is a neuroexcitant. It actually kills nerve cells, and it makes you extremely irritated and anxious at the same time. So Ritalin actually is very similar to MSG, which is kind of crazy that you treat issues like ADD, ADHD with it. And I guarantee,
originally caused by.
yeah, if there was no MSG on the planet and it wasn't as prevalent as it is, there would be no ADD or ADHD. That's the only reason it's there is because of that. And to me, the whole 60s movement, when all that was happening, what they did is they brought in this accent that everybody started using, and I guarantee you
Which is
that's
the only ingredient. If you read the ingredient list on accent, it is just monosodium.
and to me, that was the chemical, the brain chemical that brought people out of the, talking about personal power and all that. That movement disappeared, and that's how it happened.
got squelched by accident.
And you know what's interesting? If you go back and look at movies back then, everybody's thin. Because that's how we're naturally meant to be. So nowadays, when you start losing weight, or you actually start looking like we're supposed to and normal, people think you're too thin. But actually, you're just about right. Because we carry a lot more weight than we're supposed to. And that
Because
affects,
of MSG?
well, that's not the only thing, but there's so much things in our food. MSG is probably the biggest aspect of that.
And I'll tell you, over in the UK, there's not near as many fat people.
Well, no.
See, and it's in every food. It's not in a Chinese restaurant. You go anywhere out to eat, you're getting it.
Especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
But in the UK, it used to be that you couldn't, because I was over there, and you couldn't eat but certain times of the day because everybody was closed. But I wonder now that they're getting the fast food restaurants over there.
Probably.
Yeah,
I wonder
they
how
do
long that
have
will
fast food
last.
restaurants in
I
some
wonder
big
how long
cities.
now.
That's true.
Yeah, but
No.
they're just more frugal than we are. Yeah.
Resist.
And the portion size
Relax.
are small.
Hold that there. Let's go thumb up. I like that. Resist. Good. Strong. Resist. Strong.
You're strong.
Resist. Man. It only takes a second of muscle testing. You sit there and think about it, it's not working. That's why I focus every time before I do it. Resist. That's iffy. Resist. No. So, iodine was iffy. All adrenals are your issue and spleen. So again, that's spleen and raw. Raw adrenal, raw spleen.
Does that surprise you?
But the raw adrenal has spleen in it.
Actually, no. I'm
Can you
not
say that the raw adrenal has
thrilled
spleen in
about
it?
it. I've been putting a few things together lately.
But you know what the adrenals sit on top of, right?
Kidneys. Kidneys?
Right.
Oh. That's right.
And your adrenals have to do a lot with your water balance in your body, because if your adrenals are out, your water balance gets off, your kidneys get off, and on and on and on. I'm only mentioning that Marge has mentioned she's had kidney stuff before. And that makes sense that adrenal came up. And spleen. Spleen is not only the blood cleanser, but it's in charge of the lymphatic system, and it flushes out excess fluid. So
they're all connected.
yes.
How do you know which was the originating?
Well, that could take a while. Adam and Eve are the originating problem.
There you have it.
What if you didn't descend from them?
Huh?
But what if you didn't descend from them?
It was the only two people you had to, Stephen.
Not necessarily, right? If you came from other than...
There are a few aliens among us. So.
Well, I saw a program on, I don't know if it was history or where, where they were saying that there's two books in the Bible and two Adam and Eve accounts, and they think there's two
That's
different
right. Yeah.
couples.
Yeah, that's right. They started.
Well.
Yeah, they started with Adam and Eve, and it didn't work out.
Somehow,
Something happened. It didn't work out. Something happened, and they did away with them, and then they started over.
well, that's actually in Genesis. In the King James Genesis Bible,
Yeah,
it starts
that's
out
okay.
that way.
Yeah.
Man was created on, I forget exactly
That's
what day. Then it says it again in one or two next days
That's what
later.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the two older.
The only reason why I said that other people is because they had Cain and Abel, and
Yeah.
they had two boys,
Yeah. So how did everything?
and one of them got killed. So
So
and the other one was banished to go live with the other people, and he had a wife.
And we all know that's metaphoric. And,
Yeah.
and to me, I'm always trying to take everything to the basics of energy. It's Adam, like the atoms in my body, and Eve, time. It's the two concepts that this reality is made of. It's matter and it's time. Adam and Eve, right there. So yeah, you can enjoy. It's also yin and yang. Adam was the yang, and Eve was the feminine. And even within economics is very yang. It's very masculine. They're going out and labeling everything and putting a price on it. That's what Adam kind of did, right?
He named everything.
Yeah, named and labeled everything. There's a joke like he named all the flying things, and then a little buzzing insect came by, and he ran out of names and went fly. But really, like Adam named all the animals. I mean, we're continually finding and naming things. It just means that masculine energy does that. It likes to separate, put in boxes, and label. That's what masculine energy does. The feminine is more flowing and destructive. No kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I can take you all. But the feminine there. This is how yin and yang work for evolution. Okay. So the feminine is always the rising rung of a step. Okay, like going up still. This is like one-dimensional, but imagine if these are steps, right? So the feminine is always the rising principle. Masculine is when you reach a new plateau, you level out, you make structures, societies, governments on the growth, right? Then this gets too limited. It goes out so far, and then it reaches a point where it doesn't work. The feminine comes in and goes, this is crap, changes it, boom, boom, and that's how we evolve. So right now we're at this stage of the masculine falling apart as we move into another age. And we're shifting. We're in the middle of that process, and all the stuff we've heard about 2012 and all that is a reality. It's happening. How it changes and how it shifts is according to how well we move with that flow. In these groups like this, imagine there's thousands of groups like this around the place. Maybe not doing the exact same thing, but they're focused on clearing out their old programming bullshit of the old world to move into the new world. Because all the stuff I'm trying to get myself clear of is something I don't even believe in anymore. I don't believe in karma anymore. I don't believe in these other concepts that have become limiting to us and locks us in relationships and realities we don't need. There's a new world coming, and not a new world order, but a new world is coming.
Well, it's the Aquarian age thing.
No, the new world order is trying to prevent that.
Yes, Facebook, that whole read on the new, we're shifting. The world, the Earth is shifting literally into the Aquarian age.
Yeah, I mean, the whole song, the Aquarian, the age of Aquarius, that hasn't happened yet. That happens at 2012, this year, December. Okay, that's when the solstice happens. That's when because what happens is our axis of our planet right now has been pointing at Pisces for the last 25,000 years. What's been the major religious icon?
The fish.
The fish, right? Which is Jesus, and it's Piscean, right? We're moving out of that into the Aquarian age, where everybody has a power. Aquarian is groups. So groups are going to start coming together and creating powers, and not just one guru, preacher, teacher that you go to and bow to. No, it's groups. This energy that we go to a select few is dying out. Those are the ones that are trying to control everything to the end because they don't want this shit to happen, but tough shit is going to happen. To the degree how easily it shifts, is going to be based on how we transition within ourselves. But ultimately, they have no control because it's going to happen. They're going to go kicking and screaming. Just like we, so the reflection there is, we go kicking and screaming from our own issues too, right? So as we go along, and why I made that post on Facebook today, is that, it's time to quit, half-ass doing it. We're going to have to bring up some stuff that maybe you don't want to be brought up, and you're going to have the balls to do it if you really want to move forward.
Well, Katie posted that thing that pretty much says that too, and it talks about, those of us that can let go of, what did it say, let go of? Density, which that spoke volumes to me. Because density to me, it equals everything. Our belongings, our, putting so much importance on. Yeah, I just thought that was a good read.
Well, I have to give up my courses. No.
Your what?
They're God's creatures.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
See, but actually,
wait a minute. I don't know if I want to go there.
No, but actually, the type of program, the horsing program you and Beth are on, are actually
that's actually part of it.
It's the New World program. So there's lots of new programs that are coming in to overlay the crappy ones that we've had. Like I think Beth or you were talking about going to the horse collector show where the Australians were really mean and pushing the horses around.
Yeah.
And then the Borelli way is like this way where you interact with the animal, more of like in the movie Avatar. So things are changing, and it's going to happen. But we have to continually keep going with the flow and not let it stall out, because to the degree that it's going to hit us in the face is the degree of how we're going to address things. If we wait till the last minute, you're going to be pushed. So what I see part of my job here to do is get a bunch of people that are awake to a certain level, because once the proverbial shit starts hitting the fan, people are going to be forced to do stuff that they were avoiding before. The cool thing about this group, light workers, is they're consciously putting themselves in uncomfortable situations to move ahead, because you have to do that no matter what. You can choose to do it and be ahead of the wave, or you can wait till you're forced, where it's not so much fun. So let's go ahead and tap on some thyroid issues and keep the theme going in that direction. Anybody want to come up around anything about, if you're having personal power issues about speaking your truth, issues about creating through your voice and being projecting with your power, something along that line, come on up.
Everybody's coming.
Come. This is one of those things where it's like you jump when the door's open. So, is there something along that line? Maybe we help you? No?
I'm saying to everybody, my English is not
That's okay.
well, and sometimes maybe I ask, can you repeat?
Sure.
We understand.
So is there something along those lines? Okay. About personal power, issues where you might not be speaking up where you need to, being able to project into the world. There's lots of things that fall into this category.
Creative energy.
Saying things you need to say that you're afraid to do.
I want to focus more on mostly voice, since we're talking about the thyroid, and the power to project what you say into reality. And then also, what we're being forced to be is more integrated and in a line with our spirit. So, when we lie or we tell little white lies or mistruths, we're actually weakening our thyroid and we're weakening our power. Because actually, like I say, even to the point of like you make a promise to yourself, today I'm going to eat good, I'm not going to eat any crap, right? So then you go about the day and then something tempts you. It's like your power betrays you, but basically you lied and betrayed yourself. So then you kill those two things, weaker and weaker. So we have to be more forceful and truthful, and whatever to that end is going to come about, we have to start doing more and more. Because you cannot have a strong, powerful thing and say, do this reality, if you are half-assed somewhere else. It doesn't work. To the degree that you can have some balls, and because you've got to apply it in your own life before you can even push it on the world. If you cannot have the willpower to direct yourself, how the hell do you think you're going to direct the world around you? It just ain't going to happen. I mean, pissing in the wind. So, sorry, my thyroid's on fire. So, is there something specific you want to focus on related to that?
About speaking.
Speaking? Okay. Is there a particular way?
Just doesn't matter. We can do it.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll feel
She
that's
doesn't
okay.
know us.
Yeah, no.
Break.
Well, she's already said she's not confident about her English. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge way.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll make it general. Of course, we can tune in. So how we do this, Anna, is we're tapping on the meridians. And I'll give you a sheet you can take with you. You can pass those out to people if you want to do that. And as we're tapping, we'll get stuck on different areas. And then maybe we'll have somebody read what that relates to. And then just keep going. So basically, it's like acupuncture without the needles. We're just clearing energy out related to the issue. Okay? So we'll keep it kind of generic for you, okay, to begin with, and see where it goes.
Can we tell her about the voting her through thing? So we're on your side, so.
This
We're
is
rooting
the point
for
he
it.
ends up going through, and you don't have to hold it here, but if you just so you kind of know, he goes through these. So you did that.
Oh, and confidence is here. If you have no confidence, you have no voice, right? That's why I would pass on getting up in front of the English class, because I was shy, didn't have any confidence. It's like, I could not make myself get up there. Or I get up there and, so...
She good.
Yes, he hit it right there. Confident.
Okay, so you just repeat after us, okay? You don't have to yell it out, you can just repeat. Although I lack confidence in myself, I accept myself. So we're acknowledging the so-called negative and then a positive on top. So it's like this low confidence in self, I accept my, and I neutralize each other out. Does that make sense? Okay. Does that make sense when I said lack confidence? Okay, that's what I was going to check. Confidence is you believe you can do it. Are there areas where you lack that? Where you don't feel like you can't? Can you name like a particular thing? Okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
You tell her
people how
everything's
you feel?
confidential.
What?
Everything is confidential.
Telling people how you feel?
No.
Do what?
I'm searching answers our feed. Okay.
Searching what?
Answers
I
our feeds
see.
right now.
Okay.
I feel nothing right now.
It's okay, you don't need to feel anything.
I feel the tapping.
You don't need to feel anything. You don't need to feel anything.
Okay, let's get this started. Okay, I'm gonna do a shortcut here. And if you know the muscle testing, you can just jump in here and say, I do this with myself. Because when you muscle test, if you have enough consciousness, you can set yourself aside, okay? And I consider a muscle test on something I didn't even know I necessarily had an issue with. So I'll go, do I need to address fire, earth, metal? Is it lung, large intestine, defensive, dogmatic, stuck, overcritical, controlling, narrow-minded, perfectionist, compulsive, cynical, miserly, uptight, emotional? Emotional incontinence. So I'm going to go with that. Because thyroid, and I'll tie it into thyroid. I'll tie it into thyroid because thyroid, when your thyroid's not working properly, your mood is like this. Okay.
Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So do you understand emotional roller coaster? Good.
Of course.
Good. Yay, we have a winner. So, and sometimes if I'm tapping on something specific, why not put your hand there, right? And you can relax. Comfortable. Although my emotions tend to be all over the place, I accept myself. Does that make sense? All over the place? That's okay. My emotions tend to be all over the place. And if you resonate with what we're saying, tap on yourself. Although my emotions tend to be all over the place, I accept myself. I'm going to tap the large intestine and stomach at the same time. Sometimes I'll do these together. Hot.
That's
The
what
air just came on. And that's energy moving too. Although my emotions tend to be all over the place, I accept myself. Although my emotions make me uncomfortable sometimes, I accept myself. Sometimes other people's emotions make me nervous. Sometimes other people's emotions make me nervous. Now you're cold? She's like, I'm hot, now you're cold. That's just feeling the different energy. So she's sensitive to that shift. So spleen is right underneath the armpit here. Sorry. All right. I'll just touch. So if somebody's really ticklish, you don't have to dig, you can just touch. Okay, that's good. Or we can skip that one. Heart.
You want to skip it?
Yeah. No, we actually need to do that in some way because it deflected the energy. Sometimes in situations where people will deflect energy away from an issue by something like that, not intentionally. So all of a sudden I lost my stream. I couldn't get back into what I was saying before that, which means that threw me out. So I gotta tap back into the spleen, and I'm going to cheat by going to the toe. And I'm just going to rub her big toe, which is spleen. Although other people's emotions make me nervous, I accept myself. Although other people's emotions can make me nervous, I accept myself. Good. Although I get nervous around people, because of my language, I accept myself. So what I'm saying is, it makes you nervous when you can't communicate. Okay. Which is, again, a thyroid thing, right? So it's interesting. Anna shows up tonight around, cosmic thing about language, communication, thyroid.
No, if you speak 4 languages, it's not easy.
Yeah, she speaks 4 languages.
Wow. My French is bad, but she's French 5.
Yeah.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear.
She said she
that with French she has 5.
5 languages.
5 different ones. And, there's like tons. Lots.
Wow.
So I'm stuck on the heart.
I get Mullen.
So when I get stuck, it's like they're going to read what heart relates to, and you say if anything resonates. Okay.
Shock,
Shock,
guilt,
guilt,
unlived joy,
unlived joy,
Self-protection.
Self-protection.
Feeling used.
Feeling used.
Trapped.
Trapped.
Hard-hearted.
Hard-hearted.
Boredom.
Boredom.
Uncreative.
Uncreative.
Rigid.
Rigid.
Greed.
Greed.
Coldness.
Coldness.
Hysteria.
Hysteria.
Erratic behavior.
Erratic behavior.
Melancholy.
Melancholy.
Dullness.
Dullness.
Yearning for joy.
Yearning for joy.
Jealousy.
Jealousy. You responded mostly to feeling trapped or feeling used, right?
Well, there's one before that.
Unlived joy.
Unlived joy.
Self-protection.
We could read it again if you want.
No, it's two. Self-protection and
Used. Okay. Although I feel used,
although I feel used,
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Although I feel used,
Although I feel used,
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
And interesting, it clears my throat. Huh?
It's about setting
Yeah, I
boundaries.
mean, that's what I was about to say. I was thinking of clearing my throat too, right? So, feeling
Now
used,
she's warm.
yeah, feeling used has to do with not being able to say no, right? Like, no, back the off. So, although I sometimes feel used,
Although I sometimes feel used,
I accept, I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Although I sometimes feel used,
Although I sometimes feel used,
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Although I sometimes feel used,
Although I sometimes feel used,
I'm going to be okay. The air is going
It's cool.
as fast as it can.
Yeah, it's just
A lot of energy up there.
Yeah, yeah. Energy moving.
let it out.
It's actually almost cold.
Although my emotions,
Really? Not for you.
although my emotions
Although my emotions
seem to be all over the place,
tend to be all over the place,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
That might need to be translated.
Yeah, emotions all over the place means it's like here you're up, here you're down. Okay. It's the same thing as roller
I was
coaster.
just thinking,
Having a hard time saying.
seeing right though.
I see. Although my emotions
Although my emotions
can be all over the place,
can be all over the place,
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Although
Although
I sometimes
I sometimes
feel used,
feel used,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Can you say how you feel used? In what way? Okay.
It's just feeling.
Feeling. Gotcha. Okay. That's okay. I sometimes feel
Sometimes feel
used. I sometimes feel
sometimes feel
used.
used.
Triple warmer, another strong one.
It's actually expressing herself, her emotions when things happen.
Okay. So let's go with that. Although
Although
I have a hard time
I have a hard time
expressing
expressing
how I really feel
how I really feel
in the moment,
in the moment,
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Although I have a hard time
Although I have a hard time
expressing how I really feel
expressing how I really feel
in the moment,
in the moment,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
It's hard for me
It's hard for me
to express
to express
how I really feel
how I really feel
in the moment.
in the moment.
Especially if I'm pissed off.
Okay, she's getting there. Let's split that. Did you hear her? Okay. Then she said, especially if you're angry. So let's say that. See that? See that? That's an example of a suppression, right? It's like, so. Although
Although
it's hard for me
it's hard for me
to express how I really feel
to express how I really feel
in the moment,
in the moment,
especially
especially
when I'm angry.
when I'm angry.
Good.
That works.
Go ahead and ring triple warmer. I'm still stuck there.
Confusion,
Confusion,
paranoia,
paranoia,
muddled thinking,
muddled thinking,
emotional roller coaster,
emotional roller coaster,
I'm humiliated,
humiliated,
indecisive,
feeling left out,
inhibited,
choked,
giving up,
Inhibited?
held back.
Yeah.
No.
having the right to self-expression,
Having the right. In other words, it's okay for you to express yourself. No.
not being heard,
Not being heard.
not
Somebody
being,
not hearing you.
not being seen,
Somebody not seeing you.
repressed.
Feeling repressed. Held down. Okay. So which one stood out mostly?
You want her to read it?
Yeah,
Roller coaster? Okay.
Thank you.
Although I feel
I feel
like I am on
like I am on
an emotional roller coaster
an emotional roller coaster
in my relationship,
in my relationship.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster,
Feel I'm
an emotional roller
emotional roller coaster
in my relationship.
in my relationship.
Although I feel
Although I feel
like I'm in an emotional roller coaster, like I am
like I am
on an emotional
on an emotional
roller coaster
roller coaster
in my relationship,
in my relationship.
I'm going to be okay.
I'm gonna be okay.
Good. Right here, this point. Why don't you just follow my hand? Don't move your head, just move your eyes, okay? Good.
I feel like I'm sitting in sauna.
So,
Very comfy. I love
That
sauna.
energy.
that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That'll kind of clear some stuff out. Thanks, Mama. Quarter, awesome. Maybe I can get 2 in. So, anybody else? I'm really looking for you not expressing what you really need to be expressing. Like you know what it is, but you're not doing it. You know, there's a block there. You're lacking personal power somewhere. Any of those related to that?
Oh, definitely. I'll go.
Come on.
Dad, look at the shark on your shoulder.
Yeah.
That thing is speaking
That's
up.
cool.
Speaking up.
Bruce.
Yeah.
This is, the guys at work, man, I feel drawn to kind of saying how I feel with them, and yet I always keep getting hit hardcore with resistance. Well, how about this? No, I don't believe that.
Who's hitting you with resistance?
The people I work with, pretty much, I'm stuck with them all day long, all night.
He works on the railroad.
Railroad, yeah.
It's like you're
Railroad, and some of them are pretty much just, good old guys.
Yeah, and I feel compelled to try to open up the
Share something,
share. Yeah, exactly.
but they keep going.
Oh yeah.
Shut you down.
Well, we can see where this goes, but sometimes, I've had to learn this, it's like sometimes the pearls the swine, Sometimes it's not a proper use of your energy to even try, you know what I mean? You would like to, but if you keep getting blocked, it's like if you're in a relationship and you can't get anywhere, maybe that just doesn't where you need to be anymore.
Right.
We'll tap on it and see where we go, but it might just be able to get you to the point where you can, because there's a thing about truth can be spoken more through non-action and non-words as it can be with verbal. Because if you have a lot of personal power, just your presence says everything. To me, the whole concept of Jesus, whether it's metaphorical or real, Jesus had that presence where he owned and lived the power. So people there's stories about people just being healed by being in His presence or touching His clothes. In other words, there was never any reaction. It was you holding a power, which is really speaking more about this than this, which are actually go hand in hand, though, right? So,
are you feeling trapped?
Not necessarily trapped. I feel like sometimes I would like to have better words to say because they kind of come out coarse a little bit, and then they attack the wrong meaning behind the words. Like the words don't manifest where it would be kind of subtle and smooth and kind of more flowing. And then they...
Because you and Anna have had a similar... We always have a theme, right? Confidence. It's about the confidence in what you have to say and your delivery, right? She has the limitation of language, so she's kind of nervous around that, and she may not find the right words. Where you have a kind of a similar problem. You have a hard time.
You know a different language than they do. You speak a different language.
Yeah, but there's a delivery thing too, and he knows what he's talking about. It's like knowing it's there and being able to share it. Because
how to translate it into something they'll understand.
Right, and once you know information, you really own it. Then what happens is you can translate it to anybody that comes along. Because if I was talking to somebody who was Christian, I would use different language but say the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And we just want to open that up for you. You've got the knowledge. Now we just want to clear out the little blockages to getting that out, and then you can just do what you need to do. Sometimes you'll speak, sometimes you will.
And that's why Jesus taught in parables, because that was easy
to translate into other languages.
Yeah, people misinterpret the parables all the time too. Like the Good Samaritan was actually a story about racism, getting over racism, because the Samaritans were hated who he was telling the story to. Mm-hmm. So, although I sometimes have I'm going to change that. Although I can't always get my point across. And it gets me frustrated. Which makes me then push my words. From here.
From there.
I accept myself. So I kind of said that long because I was picking it up as it came to me. It's like he wants to say things, and as he starts to say things, he's not saying it the way his mind wants to say it. And then he starts getting frustrated with himself. Then he starts pushing the words out. And then the people interpret that pushing as an aggressive energy instead of trying to, I just really want to get my point across. They take what he's saying as aggressive, so they react. That's the pattern I'm seeing. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So it's and the image that came to me is like a child that stutters. So here's this child wanting to share with his friends, it's stuttering, and then getting angry at yourself because you're stuttering. And then what comes out is just anger. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Although I sometimes have a hard time expressing how I really feel. I accept myself. Although I have a little short circuit. Between my brain. And my mouth. I accept myself. Although I have a little short circuit. Between my brain. And my mouth. Called doubt. I accept myself. Hmm? So that's what's coming to me with Jim. So he's got this little short circuit between saying what he wants to say, and then he's got the short circuit between what he's thinking and what he's saying. And what's happening is there's a little bit of doubt in there. So it's like you're saying something, you're doubtful or wondering what they're going to be thinking about what you say. And I've done this myself. So then you kind of stumble on your word. You know what I mean? That's just another level I'm feeling. Does that make sense at all?
A little bit. It's what I say, they come back with aggression, and then I'm having a hard time responding to that point.
Okay. Like defending yourself, I mean?
Right. Like they're wanting to know dates and this and that. Oh, well, I just don't believe it. I'm like, well, it's just happening, dude.
Okay. So, although I feel attacked. By the guys at work. I accept myself. Feeling attacked. By the guys at work. Feeling attacked. By the guys at work. Although my word
Oh, that my word
is being attacked
is being attacked
by the guys at work.
by the guys at work.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
My word is being attacked.
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 Colon. Oh. Forgot I had this here. Defensive, dogmatic, stuck, overcritical, controlling, narrow-minded, perfectionist, compulsive, anal, cynical, miserly, uptight, emotional incontinence, orderliness, stubbornness, holding on. Any of that stand out?
Stuck.
Them being narrow-minded.
Narrow-minded. Yeah.
Oh, defensive. Yeah.
What is your intent for telling him what you're telling him?
That's a good one.
To help.
What, to show them there's a different way to look at things?
Yeah, these guys are stuck in their loops.
Huh?
Oh,
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of a feeling just to help out. These guys talk about the same things. I see them in their loops and their patterns. And
You and Leroy need to go to
But
lunch.
sometimes, I mean, this is my thought. Sometimes, you know, when you see somebody like this is the feeling I'm getting. When you see somebody who you feel drinks a lot, but they haven't really come to that point, you know what I mean? I'm just partying, having a good time. I'm not even going to consider that I have an alcohol problem.
right.
And now somebody comes to me and says, hey, you know you drink too much. Then you're going to come back with, whoa, 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 You know what I mean? That's the feeling that I'm getting, that they're getting from you.
Right.
You're just trying to broaden their horizons from your point of view. But
they're not
they're
ready to
taking
go
it
there.
as a personal offense, like, oh my God, what are you telling me?
But they're not ready to go there. They're
Right.
not.
It's
Right.
like the when Rome it was the Romans, that if you're feeling that badly about being around them, it's not them that's going to change. You might seriously just be needing to find another job.
Right.
Well, and it goes back to what I started with about the whole concept of pearls to swine. Sometimes is and this is hard for me to get, and I didn't really enjoy getting it, but I do get it now. Is that you know, I wish I was looking for my Ram Dass book, but I don't have it here. But in one of it's that flip through book, the old book, and it's got the pictures of a guy kind of running down the aisles of the church, screaming, "I found the truth!" That kind of thing. It's like you know, when you start really knowing why people are suffering, you want to help everybody, right? But the hard truth is that the only people you can help are the ones that ask. Otherwise, it's wasted energy, seriously, because they have not put forth the effort. You coming to this group and doing the thing you're doing, that's you're putting your investment and energy into moving forward. Everybody has to do that, because otherwise, what is the purpose of life? There's no personal growth in that if all you did was you went to somebody and they magically waved a wand and you were done, right? No. Life is meant to be struggle to push you to the point of where you need to ask for help and move forward and take responsibility. You're there, and I think maybe you're feeling like you're stuck in a situation where you want to help, but then again, I'm getting the feeling that for you, what you're needing to develop right now is that really strong solar plexus energy power that when people, because this is what happens, this is how you convert people. I'm not saying this is how you trick people, but this is how you convert people for real. Okay, for real is how you convert
If
people.
they're convertible.
This is how you change somebody that has got stuck in their pattern. Is they repeatedly see your life and begin to envy you. Okay?
And then they come to you.
And then they come to you and say, why is your life flowing so wonderfully? Then you can tell the truth. But to me, you're wanting to do this now, when really what Spirit's asking you to do is do this. So when you're that quiet personal presence that just has power radiating and somebody walks around you, you go, wow, I feel good around him. That's when people start asking. They're not going to ask. If they're not asking, don't fucking tell. Because I can tell you that doesn't do shit. It doesn't. You're wasting your freaking
It's kind of
time.
like the Mormons knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Most of the time they get the door slammed in their face because nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah. And if I wanted to, I would go to the church, right?
Exactly.
So the thing is, I really get the thing that in this present, because life works in crazy ways. I believe you're in, you don't take my word for it, but I believe you're where you are right now because it's pushing you to go inward, okay? Not to get involved in their conversations, not to add to their conversations in a negative way, and only to help if they ask. You're supposed to be developing this strong presence, and you're sitting there and you're being the centered, stable person. You're the example that all of a sudden people go, wow, what's he doing this right? Then they start asking. But if you try to do this part first, it doesn't work. Not at all.
Because they don't want to hear it.
And even as it starts to,
Good.
yeah, and even as it starts to come, because my husband went through the same thing, and he still goes through it. Because he takes very seriously when you're, or, he doesn't want to be around all that negative talk and all that crap.
See, but there's the thing there, because that's an inherent weakness from that standpoint, because what it's saying is you don't have the power to transform it. But this is what happens, is once you own your own power and you're in a situation, them being in your presence, you lighten them simply by your presence. Any guru energy is just hanging in the field. A Reiki attunement is not getting the magical attunement where they wave your hands and symbols over you. It's being in the presence of somebody that's in tune with that energy, to that vibration. You being in that vibration, this is what Spirit's asking you to do while you're in the situation where you are, because it's pushing you inward, because now you know the interaction's not working, going out's not working. You go in, develop this centeredness, godly presence within yourself, and you start radiating that out, then they'll start coming in droves, really. But you have to do that part first. And what happens is you'll start transforming their negativity just by being around them and hearing it. When you can't hear it, what it means is that you're weak. You lack power. Right. Their words are affecting you. That means you're weak, right? So it's telling you, build it. So each time you get a punch, build it up. You take that energy, you transform it, you center it, it makes you stronger, 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 to the point that all of a sudden, no matter what's being said around you, you transform.
Right.
Then people come to you. So, but you got to do that first part. You're going too much out here, where right now you need to be putting it in. Because you have a,
I think part of that comes from maybe he's excited because he's kind of freshly awakened, so he's like,
that's what that picture's about. He's like,
but you have to be patient with everyone else because they're trying to wake up at the same time.
Right. But to me, I feel like your calling is going to be a little bit deeper than just that. I think you're being asked to be more of a presence. Because some people are just asked to be a presence. You know what I mean? And once you start owning that, then you start transforming their negativity simply by being around you, without any words. Then finally, when they come and ask you, by being inward and having this quiet conversation with God in your head, not other people, you will have been having this training. So when somebody comes and asks, you will not have to stumble over your words, because they're not your words. They're God's words. Right now, your mind's awakened, and you're trying to make your mind speak the words. Right now, it's like, no, go here, develop this within you, and God will speak through you. It's as simple as that. That's the real transformation. You're just putting the cart before the horse, and that's okay. You're in the perfect situation to make you develop the other.
Whew. That was awesome. That was awesome.
And don't forget that change for most people is scary. So
yes,
any change for people is scary.
Especially if they've been that way for their whole life.
But I've been in your situation. It's a short time I've been coming to the group. I've been in your situation, and I just realized they're not ready.
Or I'm not ready.
Well, you're ready because you're ready because you're here, and you're.
I'm not ready.
But about the speaking,
Yeah.
Because saved from within before.
Yeah,
but that's why you're here tonight, and that's the message.
That's true, but you're on your way there, and it's like,
when the teacher is ready, the pupil will come.
Yeah, and sometimes the teacher has to be beat the shit out to get the knowledge, right? So right now, you're having this happen to you to make this power within you stronger. You have this strong presence voice. I can feel a vibration here. That's what you don't have to even worry about this. This is what you're supposed to be developing. Once you get this, you won't have to even think about what you say, because just like all that stuff I just spewed out, that did not come from my brain. That came from higher, right? So once you get that going, it's like that. You don't have to store any knowledge up here like Beth talked to. It just comes through you. That's what you're wanting. But you're just a little ahead of your time, and you'll be there shortly. But you can go in here more, and then what you do is It's like you're internalizing everything that's going on, and you're transforming those. Imagine transforming those negative words inside of you, not trying to deflect them, not trying to fight them, because they'll take that as the energy of being aggressive. You're going in, changing them, and therefore changing the environment. You're actually become the dynamo that changes the world just by walking around it. And that's an awesome walking path. I got all charged up.
Yeah, that's good.
Are you attuned to Reiki? No? Not yet.
Did you see that movie, if somebody else picks it up, you can tell me.
God, throws the bomb.
The Warrior, Peaceful Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
I read the book.
The
Have you
book's
seen that movie?
fabulous.
The movie or the book, either one. I like the movie. It's a good example of the type of teacher I'm talking about. And it's when the person comes and asks that it starts happening. And right now you're in the path of being made that spiritual teacher. And right now you need to be focusing in on yourself, clearing out all the things that you need to do, so that you can then start doing that for others. But there's a little bit more path you have to go to be at that top of the mountain.
It's funny, one person did actually break away from the other gang and come up and said, hey, man, I want to talk to you, but yeah, I can't let
Not
the other
now,
guys.
yeah.
We got everything to know about this. Start talking to you.
So yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, it's already started.
It's like when I was a substitute teacher, the students couldn't let the other students know that they liked me or were from one to be friends.
I don't get too much more of that, Jim.
Okay. No,
Just
that was
stand up for me
pretty
real quick. Cross your arms. There is a little block here on the heart. As he cries. All right. You're a big guy.
Jeez.
Wow.
That was cool.
Good job.
Excellent.
Now let's do one more. John, did you want to come? Okay. Beth.
You're running through that same thing with McConnell,
Which, yeah.
But you're right, he has to develop this.
Let me see.
Okay.
Hello, John.
Freedom to speak, I have. Yoda. So I'm pretty much just saying how it is nowadays, so. Let me see. This up a little bit. Although I have a hard time projecting my power with my thoughts and my words, I accept myself. Although I have a hard time projecting my power and my voice, I accept myself. Have a hard time projecting my voice. Have a hard time projecting my voice. Although I have a hard time pushing my power into the world because I have a weak voice, I accept myself.
Isn't that funny? Like nobody wants
Although I have a weak voice and a weak projection of power, I accept myself. Although I have a hard time owning my power and projecting it into the world, which keeps me from creating what I want to create, which makes me frustrated and pissed at the world. I accept myself. I have a hard time projecting my power into the world. I have a hard time projecting my power into the world. I choose to start speaking up for myself. I choose to start speaking up for myself. I choose to start speaking up for myself. I choose to have a powerful voice that shakes reality, puts vibrations into the world that I want to experience. I choose to project into the world and create what I want by the vibrations in my voice. I choose to project into the world with a powerful voice. So I want to do a little exercise here for everybody to participate in. To move some energy out of the throat. And what I'm speaking of, and I'm picking up with John, is suppression. Suppression, God, suppression. Suppression by others, suppression by ourselves. Once people do it enough to you, long enough, you feel suppressed. It's like a slave mentality. If you beat the slave down, eventually, I'll give you a great example. An elephant, right? They train the elephants from very young. They put these little collars on them, right? To prevent them from moving around. But when they get older, all they have to do is there doesn't have to be a chain there. They just put the collar on there. Because really, in actuality, there's nothing that would be, they're strong enough to move anything out of the ground. So that little training trains them to not have their power. But they do. They're more powerful than they fucking even know. But they bought into it. So I want to blow out some issues around suppression. And John's feeling suppression. You can hear it in his voice, right? I'm getting him try to project into reality, but he talks low. No. You speak the fuck up if you want to create it. Authority is you author your life, which means you got to speak from here. Jesus didn't like, hey, you might get up. No, it's like, get the fuck up, stand up and walk, right? So we're going to do a little exercise here. And it's very simple. It's basically like a primal, serious. Can you do that? Can you go from here and shake reality? Or are you like, okay, it's like God, right? God's up there watching, you're like, I want this. No, laugh, that's real. That you can feel the vibration of that, right? Do it, come on. Feel That's what I'm fucking talking about, okay? If you want to fucking create something, do that. Don't piss around. Get on the
Good.
Yeah. Sorry.
I did that at work yesterday.
How'd they take it?
They moved out my way today. It was nice to meet you today.
The Polynesian warriors used to practice that big time in there. And they
That's
wouldn't even have to
right.
hit anybody. They could just project it and just knock people down.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
they
football
did.
players do when they're getting ready to go out.
That's that hard-working way.
Oh, yeah.
Although my power was taken away when I was young, I accept myself. Although my power was taken away when I was young, I accept myself. Although I'm resentful for my power being taken away, from my voice being taken away when I was young. I choose to see that me holding on to this old resentment, I keep my voice weak. And I'll never be able to project my power into the world like I want. I choose to let go of my anger and resentment for the past. And own my voice and my power.
Golly.
We're clearing for him. But we both did it simultaneously. Yeah, exactly. Very mucusy. Well, you know, as soon as you're around somebody, you train to their energy, right? So he's got a lot of buildup of in here, actually physical, that keeps him from blowing out like he needs to, right? And the image that comes to mind is a biblical one of, was it the walls of Jericho? They used the trumpets to blow, the vibration, the strong power. It's like we have the ability to create and destroy things with our thoughts, but our voice is the carrier for that. It's the logos that Christ rides in, God rides in. So we've got to have that strong, powerful voice. If I'm talking and you can feel my vibrations in the room, that has more impact than me talking like this, right? You can't even hear that far away. So if you want God to pay attention to what the fuck you want to do, you go, hey, I want this, you know, that type of thing. So, so it had to clear that out first, though. I choose to open my voice.
I choose to open my voice.
And my solar plexus. And project into the world what I want. No longer feeding what other people want. How I was trained when I was younger. I choose to use the vibration of my voice to shake the fabric of reality, to create what I want to create. I can do it as long as I speak up for myself. And I let go of the old resentment and hurt from the past.
What do you need before you blow that trumpet?
Take a breath.
How much breath?
Deep
breath. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Beth. See, and then also,
breathe. I want him to take
because there's something about inspiration, right? Breathing is inspirited. So when you let a lot of air out, you got to let a lot of spirit in, and that's the cool thing is you're not going to let out. Thank you, Stephen. That's ideally great idea.
Drink of water.
Oh,
You need to clear that out.
a little vodka to strengthen the. That's what I use in the military. I mean, you know, to some degree, that's how I got over some of my voice issues. I'd be like, going to the club, but I don't want to dance because I'm shy. So. I can dance now. And what does alcohol affect the most? What part of the body? Your liver. And where is that? Right there with the solar plexus, right? Right? So.
Well, resentment.
I'm not showing you again. Ever not take a shot at vodka.
So can we breathe in really deep?
There's no breathing exercise. Just breathe in. That's why I was doing that when we first sat down.
I know. I just know.
So here's another interesting thing that popped in my head. In Chinese medicine, the heart is known as the emperor. Okay, it's without a heart, you're dead, right? But when you breathe lots of oxygen, the heart pumps that oxygen, that blood, to the rest of the body that enlivens it. So you breathe spirit in. So food is not the only way that you can get energy. Pranayama, is a very, very powerful practice where you can live off through breathing. And basically you're breathing in the chi, you're transforming the chi from your lungs and turning that into nutrients instead of through food. But it's really powerful because it affects the heart, the emperor. So although I've been pushed down most of my life, I choose to get some balls and push around reality. I choose to grab a pair we're getting through, Jeff. And push around reality. Instead of everybody pushing me the fuck around. Because this is the pattern that happens. If you get angry and resentful for the shit that happened in the past or the present, all it does is it puts you in a circle. You go out to create, but then you get pushed back in because of the anger. Use the anger to create what you want. Don't get angry at the people around you. Use that force to push into reality.
Grab life by the balls.
Yeah. An interesting thing, just to throw
You
it.
can take it anywhere.
Just
whatever you want.
Just a thing here, a really interesting. Just a really interesting thing here about the liver. The liver is about living, right? The liver. I heard this very interesting. This is a true story. It's known that we have stereotypes, but there's some truth there. It's typically known that black men tend to have a bigger member, right? Just like Chinese people have a small stature and small wings, right? But interesting thing about Native American is they tend to have more testosterone in their body. They tend to be more muscular without trying, and they tend to have a stronger liver, right? Interesting thing is this white guy had gotten a liver transplant from a black guy that was deceased, and his member grew 4 inches.
No way. No, that had to be it, believe it or not.
No, that's a true fact. It's a medical true fact. It's because the hormones control everything. Yeah. Well, let me finish this up here. Let me finish this. Let's focus. Okay, back to the Native American thing. What do they have that most people don't have? What do they have masculine-wise that most men wish they had? Most black people are very confident. Okay? Confident. So that confidence, that strength, is what strengthens the liver, right? They've gone through a lot of things, right? So that liver, that confidence gives a strong libido energy. And that has to do with having balls to say what the fuck you want and go after it. You've got to have a strong liver, a strong solar plexus to have balls. And if you don't have balls, you can't say, and you're not going to get what you want. So if you've been emasculated where your balls are taken away at some point in your life by whoever, mother, stepmother, wife, whatever, if your balls are taken away, you've got to get them back. And they're not going to give them back. You have to grow some. And it's like getting in here and going,
give me them back. I want them back.
No, you don't ask for them back.
New ones.
Yeah, I want a new pair.
Bigger, better ones.
I like some coconut mold clang, but I want
John, how does that translate for women?
They're up here.
How does that translate for women?
How does that translate for women? We
Finding
can't
the
grow balls.
Ovaries.
Well, see, these...
Ovaries.
It does translate to women. I'd have to think about that. I'm in a different gear now. But these chakras tend to be more masculine, so it's going to affect the masculine more than the female, even though there is that. I mean, if we were using the other way, I could give good examples on the feminine aspect, but I'd have to think about that for a while. But it is interesting that the liver is actually what gives you your strong sexual creative energy. And if you have a weak liver, you have a weak power, and you're pissed off, what color is he wearing?
Green.
Green. It's a fucking universal thing. It's cosmos. Green is the color associated with liver and gallbladder in Chinese medicine.
Okay.
So he's got, and that's not by accident. I know for a fact things happen like that. I don't even mistrust it anymore. So it's saying liver, liver, liver. He needs a strong liver, a strong projection of his voice. He needs a stronger voice. You need to speak up more. I'm serious. Have a strong presence. But you just have to start doing it. No one's going to do it for you. And this is what reality is pushing you to do. If reality just came around and gave you a pair of balls and everybody bowed at your feet, you would not develop the thing that you need to get it. You're having the resistance in reality to make you have this strong personal presence, and you have it. It can be there. You just have to start playing it. Don't get caught up in not getting caught up in the anger of the past where you got your balls taken away. Just
The balls are a result of taking that.
Or giving your balls.
Yeah, I mean your power, using balls, your power can be stolen, it can be taken, and you can give it away. And we tend to do a little bit of both. And for me, for John, is to have a strong personal power. He speaks up for what he wants, but doesn't give voice to the negative things. Because here's the trap. There's a little bit of a trap that you can fall into, is that you have some power, but it's inward and it's spinning like this instead of going out and pushing into reality. And what happens is, what you're giving voice to are the negative things more than the positive. So something negative pops up, it's like your attention grabs on that and you get into that cycle instead of going, no, I'm not going by that old pattern, I'm not going by what that person said, did, or that. I'm letting that go, whatever that is, and I'm choosing this. That's the power of my free will, right? Otherwise, you have no free will. If you cannot say, I choose this and stick with it, you have no free will. You have no free will, you have no voice. So all I want for you to is keep saying no to that, and yes to what you want. Only give your voice to what you want, not to what you don't want. And you tend to get stuck in those cycles there, which then deflates your power even more because you're playing an old cycle where somebody took something away from you. But you can develop it again because nobody took his balls away. I bet you can check. I think they're still It's a figurative energy thing, right?
I checked already. I think it translates to women.
Or whoever was.
To not be so soft-hearted. And stand your ground.
Because all day.
Be grounded.
She has a degree to check.
I know I have power.
I know I have power.
And I choose to start using it.
And I choose to start using it
for what I want.
for what I want.
So it's like, I keep going back to the cellular thing. It's like when you're trained in these cycles, like the elephant that doesn't even have the chain there anymore, but it feels like it can't go anywhere because that little collar's on there, right? It's like if you get trained for so long, the thing that's going to set you free, you cannot get past. But you've got to keep pushing. So it's like part of him knows this, but the other part can't push hard enough. So.
Which is right down the path of thyroid.
Yeah.
That's exactly the thyroid issue. That's exactly what you described in the beginning.
Right. So taking some of those things is actually going to help with your voice. Seriously. You'll feel like I have power because you need the feeling of power. And in John's case, he's going to need something, a little bit of bolstering from the outside to get him going. So in other words, he needs somebody, go for it. Say it. And the thyroid is basically... a pill is doing that. Whatever you're taking the pill for, it's helping you do a certain thing. So I recommend you get some of that and take it to make you build it to the point where you've got the energy yourself. And then once you get the momentum going, you can coast and, fly however you want to fly.
Feeling it.
But you got to get the propulsion to escape the gravity of your old past. And right now, you can't get off the fucking ground.
What was the word they said? Give up. Density. That ties into the whole thing.
Or density has gravity.
Density, yeah. The more dense the thing is, the harder it is to move.
And it's also brain too. When you're dense, you have a thick head. Never mind, I won't go there. I was thinking about liver and all the prior conversations.
No, let's not even go there.
Yeah. Thick head.
And it's not true about black men. I know from experience.
No, it's a generalization. But there's a tendency for black men to be more well endowed. Whites average, Japanese tend to be smaller, but there's always exceptions to the rule. But there is a truth about because a lot of black people, they don't have to work out hard, but yet they're muscular. There's a high testosterone level. They're very confident, and that is projected in reality. A lot of men, especially white men, feel threatened by black men because they tend to be more confident. But really what we're doing is we're envying that power that they have, right?
Innate power.
Right.
Power and be not penis.
Funny. Power, penis, potato.
I choose to give
I choose to give
the things I want to create.
Can you say that louder?
I want to create.
Say it louder.
Baby's going to push you.
Say it louder.
I choose
I choose
to put my words into what I want to create.
into what I want to create,
Not keep reinforcing
not keep reinforcing
old things I was told.
Old things I was told.
I choose to use my voice
I choose to use my voice
to feed things I want to feed,
to feed things I want to feed.
not old voices from the past
Not old voices from the past.
that keep me in loops,
That keep me in loops,
chained
chained
in weakness
in weakness
and slavery.
and slavery.
Yes.
Free at last, free at last.
Praise God Almighty, free at last.
Open your eyes. Follow my head.
And John, this theme is coming up with a coworker. She is Indian. And
American Indian or Indian Indian?
Indian. And she's married to an Indian, and you know how she wants to break free, but she can't because there's so much suppression. And I've been telling her, you can do it. You do what your heart tells you, and I can't because I don't know what my mom and my
See, and the thing about I know people that are in India. Oh, your sister.
It's a very controlling.
Well, over in other countries, here in America, the male and female energy is very similar. And actually, interesting thing when I studied trance dance is the music reflects the male-female balance. So in America, the feminine music is very similar to the masculine. But you go to China, it's like it's man and then it's female, right? It shows that. So in India, they've been programmed for a long time that the females were the subservient, right? So that's a hard thing to break because it's not just like a programming that you got from one generation. This is generation after generation after generation of females being covered and being, I can't control myself, says the man, so you need to cover yourself up, right? So, but those are, there's lots of different collective things transforming around the world. And that's another cool thing that's on its way to transforming. The more and more that is shifting. And it's awesome to be alive in this time and see what's going on. But you got to start doing this stuff for yourself. And this whole getting your voice, getting your power, and projecting it into the world. If we want to create the world that we want to experience, we have to have the power to do that. And one of the ideal ways of taking that away from us was religion and government. Okay, those two things systematically took away the power because we were systematically over a long period of time told how to think, believe, or whatever. So whenever somebody questions authority or they try to attack the establishment, it's built in that they will be attacked because everybody's been trained to kind of be the same person. No, you want to be a rebel in your own self, in your own spirit, and go what makes your heart sing, not what anybody else fucking says. I don't care who it is. It's everybody has their own individual Tao. Tao means a way of being. I have a particular Tao. I have a particular male and female balance that fits me, that fits my purpose. I cannot be any different. I have to really embody who I am and be happy with who I am because it fits perfectly with what I'm supposed to be doing. Everybody else in this room is the same way. The problem with that is we've had programming and all this bullshit collectively, individually that's covered that over. We are trying to break free from that fucking shit. That's what the new reality is about, is breaking free of this old concept of karma, this, that. It's crap. It's an illusion. We've all been living it. It's a prison. And I plan to get the fuck out. And if you're going to go with me, you can go. But that's where I am.
Digging a tunnel, let's follow.
And I told her when I was speaking to
Building
her
a light show.
that I'm talking to myself.
Interesting.
I said, this is me talking to myself when I'm telling you this. To break free.
See, and Deborah brought up a great thing. The things that are showing up for you now are showing you where you're lacking from being completely free from being yourself. And the thing about it is, some people are like, I was so much better before I started the spiritual path. You were so much better because everything was fucking suppressed. You weren't being who you were. Once you start waking up, things come to the surface that were there all along. It's time to get rid of that shit. And you can't fucking play around it. You either do it or you don't. You get left in the dust or you move forward. That's just the way it is.
But I have example, Indian, my friend who came with his fiance to America to escape as parents.
Yeah.
Because nobody proved their marriage. And
was it a mixed marriage?
Huh?
Was it a mixed marriage, like American or Indian, or were they both Indian? Okay.
Both Indian. But the fiance is very, very rich and
out of class.
And because there's progressive thinkers that are changing things, right?
Yeah, but they wanted build life together, and they came to America. The fiance of course, have to take care of her and to make money here because the parents don't get nothing.
That's right.
Completely
cut off.
They make decision to
lose all that,
to have freedom,
Right.
to have love, and to escape from other countries.
Yeah, and
It depends about personality.
It's hard.
yeah, and that's what I was talking about, the whole thing with Hitler. The thing that happened with Hitler, because people allowed it to happen. People fed that. Even though they didn't feel like it, they sold their souls for that because it recommended them being safe. But you know what? Living life isn't necessarily safe. If you want to live life fully and to the maximum, you're challenging yourself. You're out there doing things that people aren't doing. People are just mundane. You know, it's just like, oh, let me just get by. Let me have my car. Let me have this. Let me have my house. And let me just survive. That's not fucking living. That's surviving. And if you really want to live, you go for it. You don't pretend. You don't play around. You go for it. And sometimes that means you break out of patterns. But the cool thing about reality now is, or it's always been there, we're just now waking up to, is we can create better things. So they can create a better life than they had before. And the cool thing about it is they're fucking free to choose. I'd rather be free and not living in a palace than live in a palace and not be free. Because I don't care if it's all gold, it's still a prison. And in Zen Buddhism, they talk about the golden chain. Like meditation is a golden chain. Because meditation is supposed to get you to the point where you're meditative 24/7. So a golden chain is where you feel like you got to sit there and meditate for 30 minutes to be right. No, it's supposed to train your mind to be where you meditate all the time. And when something becomes a chain, even though it's shiny and nice, it's still a fucking chain. So, anyway.
What? No. I'm